Good morning. So in the last lecture we were dealing with projectile motion. Okay, so now today I'll start a new lecture on module 5, which is, and I'm going to start general plane motion. So what do you mean by general plane motion? It is nothing but combination of rectilinear and curvilinear motion. Okay. So before that, what is rectilinear motion? We'll see. A motion is said to be a rotation when particles of a body move along concentric circles. Okay. If the particles of the body are moving with same radius, not same radius, with the same center, then it can be said as rotation motion. A motion is said to be translation if any straight line drawn on the body keeps the same direction during the motion. Okay, if it is straight. In translation, all particles forming a body move along parallel paths. Okay, in translation, that means if the body will be all the particles, if this is a body, all the particles, see, this will move in parallel paths, whether it is a curved or if it's curved also, all these particles will be parallel to each other. Okay. Now if these are straight lines, see, if this body is moving in a straight path, the particles also follow parallel path, right? So if it is straight, it is called as rectilinear translation, and if these paths are curved like this, if these are curved, then it is called as curvilinear translation. Now any plane motion which is neither a translation nor a rotation is referred to as general plane motion. So what do you mean by that? It's neither a translation nor a rotation. That is called as a general plane motion. That means actually this will rotate as well as this will move in a straight line. Okay, the particles will rotate and also it moves. Okay, like this. Okay, this is called as a general plane motion. That means if you consider a car, the car is traveling in this side. So when you analyze the motion of this so-called tires, this is rotating to an axis, that means to the center, and also this is moving forward, right? So this type of motion is called as general plane motion. So as you already know, for translation motion, you know the equations of motion, right? Kinematics of that. Okay. Now for for rotation motion also I have explained it, right? For rotation motion also what happens, I have shown you the problems regarding rotational motion in the last module itself. So V is equal to R omega, acceleration is equal to R into such things. Okay, we have already discussed all these things in the last chapter itself, which was to be in this module. Okay, the rotation motion and its kinematics. We have done problems regarding the equations of rotational motion. We have already done it. Now here, see, when considering a rotational motion, what happens, what will be the velocity if suppose this is a pendulum or rotating pendulum or something like that. This is rotating and this is fixed here and this is rotating. Okay, fine. So what happens to the velocity? That means this point C is having a velocity. Not only this point, each and every point at its periphery will be having some velocities. Okay, if suppose if I am dropping some water here, okay, if I am dropping some water here, now at this point, where will this point of this particle take the water? This will actually take it here, right? And if at this point, where will it take? Here. You know that the velocities in rotational motion will be tangent to the point. Okay, so you can analyze the velocities. These are all velocities vectors at each point. So you can also see this motion or this motion will be done for a rotational motion. If you fix an object and you rotate it in water, you can see the water will be displacing like this, in this pattern. Okay, this is in the case when it is just rotating. Now what happens if it is moving also? It is rotating and then moving. What happens? We'll see. See, this object, sorry for that. This object is in this surface, placed in this surface, and this is moving along this side and this is rotating, say in an angular velocity of omega. So what happens to the velocities? See, when you analyze a car tire and if it is moving in a mud or in in some water or something like that, what happens to its velocity? That we will see now. Okay, so at this point, okay, actually the object is moving along this side, right? This is displacing along this direction, and also at the same time this is rotating, right? So the velocity will be tangent to this point. So there are two velocities associated with it. So the resultant of these two velocities will be the total resultant of at this point. Okay, now similarly you can draw all these points. This is going this direction and its velocity when it is rotating also in this direction. This is going in this direction, so its resultant will be in this direction. This is its velocity is because this is rotating, right? So the velocity at this point due to rotation will be towards this side and displacement will be along this side. And here this is moving this direction and here it is rotating, so this will be the its resultant. Similarly, all these points, see, if you draw all these points, you can see some resultant of, see, if this is moving this side and this is rotating along this side, so this will have a velocity like this. So actually what happens is that this will go like this. Most of these resultant vectors will be going like this towards the rotating center. Okay, so what happened? The only difference is that there is the velocity is associated with two components. The total velocity at any point at the periphery of a rotating and rectilinear, that means in a general plane motion, it will be associated with two velocities, that is, one is due to translation and other is due to rotation. Okay, this is what I meant to explain. Okay, the simple thing is that a body rotating will experience a rotational velocity as well as a translational velocity. Okay, now we'll see with an example. Okay, now you have a body AB. Okay, you have a body AB which is having an angular velocity of omega, and its velocity is VB at the point B and VA at point A. Now this object is, if this is the object, I need this object to move and make and place it here. Okay, right? So I could do this by another method. I will go straight up to this point, right? And then I will make a turn. Okay, that means simple. I need to move AB to this point, right? For that, I prefer to move straight from here. Okay, straight from here to this point, and then I will take a turn. Okay, for an angle theta. Same is done here. If this is the position of initial position, that is A1 B1 is the initial position of the body AB, then I will move to a distance here up to here in rectilinear translation, and then I will make a turn. Okay, so actually the A1 here, the A1 has, this is the first point and it has reached the point A2, and here B1 is the initial point and it has reached B2. So this will be the resultant of B1 and this will be the resultant of A1 to A2. Okay, but I am taking the path B1 is going to a point B1 dash linearly. Okay, then it is making a turn, and that velocity vector will be, if you are turning this, the velocity will be tangent to that will be like this. Okay, clear? Now see, consider a plane motion of body AB from A1 B1 to A1 B1 to A2 B2, right, as shown above. This displacement can be considered to be the sum of translation means straight motion, from A1 B1 to A2 B1 dash, right, and rotation about A2 from A2 B1 dash to A2 B2, right. The displacement of B, B1 B2, that means the displacement of B, this B is displaced from B1 to B2, right. The displacement of B1 B2 is the vector sum of B1 B1 dash and B1 dash B2. It is the vector sum of B1 B1 dash and B1 dash B2. Clear? So B1 B2 is equal to B1 B1 dash plus B1 dash B2. B1 B1 dash vector is similar to A1 A2 dash. Sorry, A1 A2, right? Same length, same vector. Okay. So I will replace this A1 A2. Now B1 dash B2 or this curve, right? This curve can be written in terms of, if this is an arc, we can write it in terms of angle and radius. Okay, radius into theta. Okay, radius is taken as A2 B1 dash. So A2 B1 dash into inclusive angle theta. Okay, arc length is r omega. Now A1 A2 plus A1, see, A2 B1 dash is similar to A1 B1, right? These are same. So A1 B1 into theta. Now from that we will write the velocity of VB. See, velocity of VB, this one, VB is moving with a velocity, then you can write, see, b1 to b2 is the direction of the resultant, and that will be the direction of velocity of b, right? So d by dt of b1 b2, d by dt of a1 a2 plus d by dt of a1 b1 into theta, right? That means you are writing the same in here. Now vb is equal to va plus omega into a1 b1. Why it is va? D by dt of a1 a2, see, d by d change in displacement of a1 a2 means it's nothing but the velocity of a, that is velocity of a, plus a1 b1 into theta, that becomes change becomes a1 b1 into omega, or vb is equal to va plus omega into a1 b1 is nothing but the same road AB. Okay. Now when omega is equal to 0, VB is equal to VA. Omega is equal to 0. This equation becomes VB is equal to VA. That means there is only translation. The body is only moving straight. And when VA is equal to 0, VB is equal to omega into A1 B1. That means VBA. That means the object is only rotating. Okay. If both are coming, you need to combine both equations. So direction of VBA is perpendicular to AB. So the final thing is VB is equal to VA plus VBA. And remember, this is vector sum. Okay, this is a vector sum. Velocity at B will be equal to velocity of A plus, that means what do you mean by velocity of A? The point at which the B is rotating, and velocity at B, rotational motion. Okay, velocity of any point in a body is the vector sum of velocity of another point in the body and velocity of first point relative to second point. Okay, understand? I hope you have got this concept, and we will do problems and you will understand more. Okay, thank you.